Good morning, great Americans. It's another great American video from Kentucky. Um, so, According to Zero Hedge and some other news outlets, CNN is stunned that a majority of Americans favor Trump's mass deportation plan. Well, of course, CNN is stunned because they're fake news and they're idiots and they've got no clue about reality. They have no clue why Trump won the election. They have no clue about how the American people really feel on certain subjects. They have no clue, apparently, that it's actually illegal to be in the country illegally. And the American people are now waking up from a long slumber where massive amounts of violations of the law are just allowed to occur, and waking up to a dose of reality where the police and law enforcement are now actually allowed to do their jobs and enforce the law. I tell you what, I what you know, people remember the bias, the left wing bias of Twitter and how bad it was until Elon Musk brought free speech. And people remember the terrible bias on YouTube, which still exists. But thank God we have other platforms like Rumble now to allow free speech and stuff like that. But there's a few other websites that seem to not get any notice when it comes to that kind of stuff. LinkedIn is one of them. LinkedIn is supposed to be a website where business people get together and sort of mingle or connect, right? But really, it's just another left-wing hack. All the LinkedIn news is just more left-wing fake news. It's a disgusting. But I'll tell you what's another disgusting site, which is really a shame because it's kind of the only one of its kind. It's a site called Nextdoor. So it's another social media site, but the unique thing about this site is that it's actually geographically um, there's one account allowed for each address, known address to the post office. So you actually sort of post things, and people in your local area see it. You kind of connect it, which is interesting. Now, of course, they don't reveal your address, but they reveal your neighborhood, right? So if you want to, maybe you want to sell something, but so it's unique. And so it's really a shame that this unique site is another left wing site where the merest peep of something conservative will get your post deleted, but all the left wing garbage is allowed to stand, and they promote left wing. It's more crap. But anyway, the reason I bring this up is because I was on this site the other day, and just the ignorant stupidity of the attitudes. Well, here I'm speaking in the local Louisville area, Louisville, which is not the same as the rest of Kentucky. Kentucky is fairly conservative, but Louisville, the city, the capital city, or it's not the capital, but it's the big city, is actually sort of liberal, leftist. Yeah, it's why big cities are like that. I don't know why. They attract all the losers. And so, and I saw there's people crying on there just saying things like, "Oh, I don't recognize America anymore. It's becoming so mean." And the usual stupid shit. Oh, it's so mean and it's the only reason that people have this attitude about deportations is because they have gotten it's an indicator that so many people have gotten so used and so comfortable with allowing people to just break the law with no consequences, sneak into the country illegally with no consequences, be in America illegally with no consequences. That now that the right thing is happening, now that the law is being enforced and people who are here illegally are being deported, they're freaking out like it's some sort of horrible thing. Now, of course, normal Americans, by which I mean conservative Americans, normal people who understand law enforcement are happy with what's going on. It's like it's better late than never. But the left, but these idiots on the left, but of course people on the left are idiots. Just look at all the wide, and I'm not even going to go, I have plenty of videos about this, but the wide range of ignorant stupidities that the left embraces, you know, is it comes as no surprise that they are just shocked and bewildered at the concept of law enforcement and don't even realize, there were some people on Nextdoor, they referred to ICE as Trump's masked what was the word? Bullies. Trump's masked bullies. No, they're not Trump's masked bullies. And the only reason they're masked is because of the violent tendencies of the left. And they're afraid of, I'm surprised a lot of police aren't masked because for fear of repercussions to their families. Well, but then again, of course, a lot of the police forces are corrupted because of Democrat mayors. And so it all turns into a big giant mess. If you're not actually out there enforcing the law, if you're just wearing a uniform and showing up at some woke event, then people, they give you a pass, right? But if you're a cop actually enforcing the law like ICE does, well, then the lefts hate you and they threaten families just like they do to the Supreme Court. So of course ICE is masked. They don't want people to know who they are because they don't want their families threatened by Democrats and leftists and Soro freaks and Antifa freaks and BLM freaks and all the other violent KKK, sons of KKK that the Democrats have invented. The Democrats always invent all the violent groups. So, but anyway, back to what I was saying. I kind of drifted a little bit there. So Nextdoor is this left-wing site. And so I was just on there the other day, and all these people just saying stupid stuff. Of course, it was the 4th of July was the day before yesterday. And they were just saying, oh, I can't celebrate my country. I can't because it's so mean and they're just doing terrible things. No, they're enforcing the law. You idiot. You're just so used to Democrats allowing people to break the law, and you're so used to Democrats being lawless that when someone is actually doing the right thing, you think it's terrible. Well, you know what? Recently, Trump said, it was very controversial. Trump said, you know what, if you don't like the law and you don't like America, get the fuck out. That's what I say. You don't like the fact that the government is finally enforcing the law and deporting illegal aliens? If you don't like it, then get the fuck out. Who the fuck are you to complain about law enforcement enforcing the law? What part of this don't you understand? That people who are in the country illegally, it's just fascinating to me. The mental hoops and the mental gymnastics that dopey liberals and the idiots at fake news CNN and the idiots at fake news MSNBC and the rest, the mental gymnastics they do to somehow get away from the simple concept that if you're in the country illegally, you need to be deported. Well, why is that so hard to understand? But here's the beauty. This is what I started off with at the beginning of the video. The American people understand it, and that is why at the top of this video I said that I'm reading Zero Hedge. This is actually being reported on a lot of things. I just happen to be reading Zero Hedge. Zero Hedge is a great website. It says CNN stunned as a majority of Americans back Trump's mass deportation plan. So, like I said at the top of the video, of course CNN is stunned because they're fake news and they're idiots and morons. And Trump has been winning. Listen to this, just a series of things. I'm just going to read this real quick. First of all, the Supreme Court handed the Trump administration a major deportation victory on Thursday. On the same day, the GOP House passed the Big Beautiful Bill Act. I don't know why they call it that. I think they're trying to. I think they're trying to insult Trump by constantly reporting. You know how Trump talks. That's the way he talks. The bill, the bill, it paves the way for over 1 million deportations annually, which means it's funding, ICE and the Border Patrol and all that. So it's got funding from the big bill. Meanwhile, the first illegals have arrived at Alligator Alcatraz, I love that, in the Florida Everglades, with outbound flights soon to follow. With these massive wins stacking up, Trump has secured yet another victory. The hearts of the American people who overwhelmingly support this effort to restore national security. And that's really what it's all about. Because not only is it illegal to be in a country illegally and all these illegal aliens have to go, but buried among the illegal aliens are Chinese spies and Middle East terrorists. Oh yeah, yeah. The fake news is not telling you the truth about what's really happening here. But now a little bit more. Let's start with the news from the Supreme Court. More winning. Are you tired of winning yet? um, the nation's highest court ruled that a lower court had a lower court had severely overstepped by trying to block the deportation of 8 criminal illegal migrants to South Sudan, despite a prior court order authorizing the removal. So, in a 7-2 decision, who the in a 7-2 decisions, the Supreme Court rebuked U.S. District Judge Brian Murphy, an appointee from the radical leftist Biden-Harris regime, for defying the ruling which permitted Trump officials to proceed with deportations. So the Trump is overturning these radical left-wing judges who have been trying to block Trump. Trump now has the funding from the Big Beautiful Bill Act. We've got Alligator Alcatraz is now receiving illegal aliens. Um, Man, we're rolling right along. And the best part of it all is Trump has the backing of the people. So here's a tweet or an X post, I guess we call it. Well, I don't know. What do you call it? It's not a tweet anymore. Breaking. Majority of Americans want all illegals here deported. Some polls have it at over 60%. All illegals. All that dreamer bullshit is all over with. You see how the Democrats try to package lawless behavior as a dream? People are in the country illegally and they're dreamers. It's like murdering an innocent human being by abortion. It's choice. Oh, it's women, it's empowerment. No, it's not. It's murder, you dope. Anyway, blah 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 blah. Let's see. What else we got? Trump's overwhelming support from voters for mass deportations suggests that the left's NGO propaganda machine is failing to control the narrative. Yeah, Trump is winning. Trump is winning. Yeah, man, thank God. Can you? I can't even imagine what would have happened if that dopey moron imbecile uh, Harris had been elected. So, uh, so never fear. The many Americans. I mean, there's always going to be some stupid Americans, and sadly, these days, a substantial portion of the American population is pretty stupid and moronic. I mean, that's all that makes up the Democrat Party these days. Any decent moral person with any slight amount of ethics and intelligence is no longer voting for a Democrat. It's a party of freaks, and their policies are lawless and quite often, frankly, evil. I mean that in the true sense of the word. And so, but Trump is winning on the deportation front. He just knocked out Iran's. I mean, I could just go down a bullet list of everything Trump has been accomplishing. It's just breathtaking. And what are we? It's we're this we're six. We're going into 7 months. Only 7 months. We still got 3.5 years or 3 years and some months to go. Man, we are winning. We are winning. And one other thing, I just speaking of the deportation, because funding for the wall is included on this. I just want to remind people, because I know this is going to come up. This is going to come up again. There's one thing Democrats and the left love to do is regurgitate old talking points. They figure, oh, we got a new generation of kids out of high school. Now we're going to tell the same old lies over and over again. So here's the lie that's going to come up pretty soon. When they start building the wall again, here's the lie. Ready? Well, the wall doesn't do anything. People can find a way around the wall. People can jump the wall. You build a 20-foot wall. I only need a 21-foot ladder. Blah, 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 blah. Very funny. It's a bunch of stupid shit. Let me remind you that the wall is a euphemism for a security zone. When Trump talks about the wall, what he's really talking about is a combination of several things. Of course, the wall is part of it. But embedded into that wall is a number of high-tech electronic security things, sensors, and so forth, actually in the wall. Also, the wall includes a security zone with sensors going out in each direction, uh, rapid access roads along the wall for border patrol vehicles. It includes drones and a number of other electronic security measures. So the wall is a term which is probably better described as a security zone. So the moron idiot, oh, that's right, that was Tampon Tim Walz, wasn't it? What a loser. A bigger loser than Harris. Tampon Tim, the man that thinks that boys' restrooms in schools need tampons. Well, that's a Democrat for you. This is the idiot who said, oh, well, if Trump builds a 21-foot wall or a 20-foot wall, all I need is a 21-foot ladder. Yuck, 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 yuck. Well, Tampon Tim, you're a moron and an idiot that we all know, because the wall, as I said, is a euphemism for a security zone. And the actual wall is only one element of that security zone. So remember that going forward when the wall starts being built. And there's more to the wall than an actual wall. Of course, the wall is important, right? And there's something else to remember about the wall. This is also just as important. Nothing, and I mean nothing, that government or anybody does for anything is ever 100%, right? Right? So, for example, we have there's laws on the books against, let's say rape, for example, just to use it's a terrible thing, but just use an example against rape. It's against the law to rape people, right? And a lot of women have security, they carry mace, and they learn how to defend themselves. And so between the laws and all this kind of stuff, it's a big deterrent, right? But it still happens. It still happens, and we have prisons to send rapists to, because no matter what you try to do, it still happens. The same goes with murder or theft or breaking and entering, right? We try to deter it with law enforcement. We let people know, man, you murder someone, you're going to prison, you might get the death sentence. And yet it happens, right? So, of course, the wall or the security zone, it's not 100%. But the point is, it deters most people. Once they get through the electronic sensors, and once they get through the other electronic devices as they approach the wall, and if they manage to scale the wall, and if for some reason they get over, uh, if they manage to get through all that, then we still have ICE and we still arrest people and we still send them to prison, we still deport them because that's the way it is with all laws and all crimes. You know, you try to deter most of it, and the wall is a great deterrent, and it will catch most of them. You know, only the very serious player is going to get through that wall or that security zone, right? And they'll be tracked, right? And all the electronic devices and all the stuff involved with it is going to pick them up, and they'll be tracked and they'll be picked up. So the point, well, the point is, when someone says, "Oh, you can get through a wall," well, you know, look, there's an old saying. I want to be careful because I don't want YouTube to ban me for saying this, but when you read when you read a spy book about someone who wants to to you know do the worst thing to a president. I don't want to say the word, but when you read like a novel about that kind of thing, you'll always it's a known thing that if you're dedicated enough, you can get. In fact, that was in that movie with Clint Eastwood. What was that movie where he played he played the Secret Service agent? And who was the killer? Was it Malkovich? And he basically said that when one man is dedicated enough and willing to give his life, he can get through all the protection. He can get in and do the deed, right? So sure, if someone is truly dedicated enough, they can get through the wall. But the point is, it's going to deter and prevent like 99%. Look, we've already brought stuff, people coming across the border. It's already been brought down to a trickle, and the wall hasn't even been built yet. So what does that tell you? We have almost brought illegal border crossings almost to 0%, and we haven't even begun to build the security zone. So sure, so a dedicated person can get across, but that's okay because we can live, we can survive a tiny trickle of people coming across. What we can't survive is what the Democrats allowed, just thousands and thousands and millions and millions coming across, raping, murdering young girls, destroying local just taxing the resources, schools and everything, just destroying everything, selling drugs, selling dope, committing crimes. I mean, that's what we can't afford. But if you nip it in the bud 99.9% and then a tiny number comes through, well, I mean, that's just the nature of, anything. Man, nothing is 100% perfect, but that's good enough. And that's worth the money. And by the way, that's one other thing. That's a third thing, the money. If you hear anyone complain about the money for the wall, just tell them to shut the fuck up. All right? Because first of all, the cost of having illegal aliens in this country far exceeds the cost of the wall. That's one. And number two, the cost of the wall is far, 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 far cheaper than all the money that we saw what Democrats spend when Elon Musk and Doge exposed their corruption. Let us not forget. billions of dollars for LGBTQ puppet shows in El Salvador and for transvestite classes in Vietnam and all that other stupid shit that Democrats spent money on. And really, what it was, those are money laundering things, and the money was coming back to the politicians. For that's a whole. I hope, man, there's something that, boy, you talk about something that really needs to be investigated. Is that? But no Democrat has the right to open their fucking pie hole about any spending that Trump does after we uncovered what they do with all that billions and billions and trillions of dollars that they have literally your money. You are in debt that they literally threw away. You put trust in those people, and they threw it away on the most insane garbage. So any Democrat that opens his mouth about, oh, this costs money for the wall, or it costs money, just shut up. You just shut the fuck up. Go sit down in the corner, shut up, because the adults are in charge. Yeah, so there you go. How about that? Well, that's it for today's moves. I'm going to put a link. Let's see where we at here. Did I lose my story? Oh, I'm going to put a link to this article in the description of the video. Um, Please like and share this video. And we have a discussion forum too. I'm going to put a link to that in the description of the video also. Sign up, come over and talk about stuff. And I will see you in the next great American video. Adios, muchachos.